Hey, what's up, people? Pizzal here, broadcasting from a whole new locale within Casa de Pizzal because the man cave is swelteringly hot. And trying to do this video down in the man cave became pretty unbearable. Just the amount of perspiration that I was experiencing was uncomfortable and unattractive. And I know a lot of you guys come to this channel because you know that I keep it sexy here. I'm all about sexy, and that's what I try and give you guys. So anyway, this is going to be another top 10 list. My last top 10 list, my top 10 favorite slasher movies, a lot of you guys seem to really like, and several of you asked for me to do more top 10 videos. So I'm doing another top 10 video. This one is for my top 10 favorite movie villains, which was just a lot of fun to just, compile this list and then proceed with, the painstaking task of, ranking them from 10 to 1. And it was a lot of fun, but it was a little difficult. It did take some time and some thought. And I purposefully avoided, the big slashers, the franchise slasher guys. So there's no Jason, no Freddy, no Michael, no Leatherface, no Pinhead. None of those guys are on this list. So I do have a couple of honorable mentions that I'll dive into. The first one being the truck from Duel. Which Duel, of course, directed by Steven Spielberg, a TV movie, his first film. And he actually balked at directing Jaws when he was first offered Jaws, which is this little obscure movie nobody's ever heard of, because he thought Jaws was too similar in tone to Duel. And of course, Duel is just the story of a big, ugly, rusted over, gnarly, nasty looking rig that's just sort of stalking this guy out in the desert, this other motorist out in the desert. And the truck, what Steven Spielberg manages to do with this truck is the truck has its own sort of personality. The truck is an imposing, menacing figure, and it's just a truck. It's, granted, it's a really rusty, nasty, old-looking rig, but it's a scary rig. So yeah, I mean, they created that kind of menacing persona in a truck. So yeah, really like Duel. If you guys haven't seen it, definitely seek it out and watch it. Good stuff. My next honorable mention is for Stansfield from the movie Leon, aka The Professional, played by Gary Oldman. And I couldn't do any kind of villains movie list without bringing up Gary Oldman, because I just, I love Gary Oldman in general, but when Gary Oldman plays a villain, he just seems to revel in playing a villain. He just really sinks his teeth into it, and he gives it all that he's got. And Stansfield, for me, in The Professional, aka Leon, he goes from being almost like just, stoned out of his mind, almost, falling over himself, to just being incredibly intense and just, a maniac at the drop of a hat. And he had, this little pill case. And inside were these pills that looked like, to me, and anybody who has, had awful sinus problems like I have my entire life, Tylenol Sinus. So whenever I would take a Tylenol Sinus pill, I would put it in my mouth like Stansfield does in the film, and, like the pill is just, sending me through this, like, violent, euphoric fit. But yeah, I love that film. I have for a long, long time, and I love Gary Oldman's performance in it as Stansfield, the crooked DEA agent. Yeah, love me some Gary Oldman. So I'll go ahead and dive into my top 10 list. Starting at number 10, Jaws from Jaws. Yeah, Jaws from Jaws. I mean, what more can you say about Jaws? Amazing film. Awesome movie. I did a video probably last year sometime talking about the entire series and just, what it meant to me and just the impact of really Jaws, particularly the original Jaws, on just how, even to this day, God, let's see, what was it, 38 years later at this point, how, Jaws created the summer blockbuster. And you know that's sort of been the motif for all summer blockbusters to, and for how studios release summer blockbusters. So yeah, and just Jaws. I mean, the shark. I mean, how many people, you know, when you go even swimming in a pool, do you hear the Jaws theme in the back of your mind, and you just imagine this gargantuan, you know, fish with this enormous mouth full of razor sharp teeth just going to come up and just take a huge chunk out of you, or swallow you whole, as Quint says. Yeah, I mean, Jaws, one of my all-time favorite movies. I've seen it so many times I can just, you know, quote it verbatim. Just love it to death. Love Jaws. Love Jaws. Next up on my list at number 9 is the character Chad from In the Company of Men, played by Aaron Eckhart. In the Company of Men is another movie that I very rarely hear people talk about. Just an awesome indie movie. And the character of Chad is, he's sort of the embodiment of, think of a more realistic sort of Patrick Bateman. You know, handsome guy, seemingly has it all. Is, you know, ostensibly on the surface, you know, a nice kind of guy, but really underneath it all, he is completely and utterly heartless and really just evil. He is, at the end of the film, just truly an evil character, but a more sort of realistically evil character than a Patrick Bateman. But if you guys haven't seen In the Company of Men, absolutely track it down, watch it. Love that movie. If you have seen In the Company of Men, let me know what you think of it in the comment section below. Number 8 on my list, John Doe from Seven. And even though he's not really in the movie very much, of course, played by Kevin Spacey, he's really only in it toward the end. He makes a really indelible impact on that film. And you got the, you know, the feeling from him as a villain that he was incredibly dedicated and he understood what he was doing was evil, yet at the same time he found a sort of oh gosh, what's even the right word, I don't know, like evil for goodness' sake, I guess, I don't know. But he was a brilliant villain, and cunning, brutal. The fact that he kept one guy just sort of tied to a bed, torturing him for a year. And they talk about it in the film, you know, the amount of dedication that it takes to do that for an entire year. So yeah, I think that's it, dedication. Definitely a villain with the utmost in dedication to his craft of being a villain goes to John Doe, and just, you know, the sort of the way that he plays all the characters in the film and the ending of that film. And, you know, I mean, he, you know, it's one of the few films where, you know, evil triumphs, you know what I mean? John Doe's master plan comes to fruition. You don't see a lot of movies where the villain really sort of, you know, their plan comes to fruition. In Seven, John Doe's does. Number 7 on my list is Hans Lauter from Inglourious Basterds, played by Christoph Waltz. And just what an actor Christoph Waltz is. An amazing actor, and he was so good in Inglourious Basterds as the Jew hunter, I think is what he was called. Just this, oh God, you the hate that you felt for this character. Yeah, you know, you realized, because you know, that's the point. You're supposed to hate him so much, and the fact that you hate him so much is just a accreditation to what a great actor and what a great performance that he had in Inglourious Basterds. As just this, you know, again, dedicated, ruthless, awful, ultimately cowardly, just awful person. Just awful person. But he played it so well. He played it so well. I love his performance in Inglourious Basterds. I also loved his performance in Django Unchained. Just really awesome actor, Christoph Waltz. Awesome actor. Number 6 on my list, General Zod. This is the General Zod from Superman 2. The General Zod from Man of Steel. I'll mention him too. I think he was a great villain as well. He was someone, and I really liked it, this part in Man of Steel, where he basically said, look, the only way to stop me is to kill me. And even at the end, when he knew he was done and he couldn't go on anymore, he wanted Superman to kill him because he would not stop. That was the only, he even, I don't know, he almost sacrificed himself. It was, I don't know, I don't know. I really liked that part of the film where he was like, look, the only way you're going to stop me is to kill me. You've defeated me. You might as well just go ahead and finish me and kill me because I'll never stop. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. But General Zod from Superman 2, what a great performance that was. What just a memorable, fun villain he was in Superman 2. So definitely General Zod. Number 5, Khan from Star Trek 2. This is the Star Trek 2 Khan, not the Khan from Star Trek Into Darkness. Which that was a great Khan too, played by oh God, I've forgotten his name. He's got such an awesome name too. Oh God, can't believe I've forgotten his name. Oh God. Anyway, that was a great Khan too, I think. But the Khan of all Khans is Khan from Superman 2, and now his name is escaping me too. But yeah, the Khan from Superman 2, or I'm sorry, the Khan from Star Trek 2. That is the ultimate Khan. That is when I think of Khan, that is Khan. That is Khan. That's and just a great villain. Great villain. Great villain. And number 4 on my list is kind of a tie. And both of them, I think, are villains that they're awful people, yet at the same time, you kind of like them. And in a really weird way, you kind of root for them. No, and that is Alex DeLarge from A Clockwork Orange and Patrick Bateman from American Psycho. Now, I've talked about American Psycho a lot on this channel and how much I love that film and love that book, and I love Christian Bale's performance as Patrick Bateman, so I won't spend a whole lot of time talking about Patrick Bateman. But Alex DeLarge from A Clockwork Orange, just, an awful person, clearly, just a sociopath. An awful, conscienceless person. Yet, once he goes through all this horror, the tables are turned on him. And you can't help but feel bad for him. And I just love A Clockwork Orange so much. I think it's a fantastic film. I think it's much deeper than just sort of a study of, ultra violence. I love the film. I think it's a really deep film. I think it's a really powerful film. I love everything about it. And I love Malcolm McDowell as as Alex DeLarge in that film. But yeah, I think both villains, DeLarge and Patrick Bateman, awful sort of human beings, but you can't help but kind of like them and kind of root for them. So number 3, Frank Booth from Blue Velvet, played by Dennis Hopper. What can you say about Frank Booth, played by Dennis Hopper in Blue Velvet? Just a villain that is, wow. It's hard to kind of put that performance from Dennis Hopper and what kind of character Frank Booth is in any kind of, simple, 1 or 2 sentence sort of description. He's a complete and utter madman. He is a drug addict. He's like breathing in this, God knows what it is, from some tank he keeps like in his back pocket or something, and just out of his gourd, out of his mind. An awesome villain, a creepy as hell villain, a funny villain. Just Frank Booth from Blue Velvet. If you can describe him, in any kind of sort of coherent way, please do so in the comment section. But yeah, he's just an absolute wild maniac. Just wow. Number 2, Darth Vader. And yeah, I mean, what else needs to be said about Darth Vader? Darth Vader is Darth Vader. Darth Vader is, just one of those ultimate villains. I mean, just an ultimate villain. Yeah, Darth Vader. What more can you say about Darth Vader? It's Darth Vader. Number 1 on my list is the Joker. And it is the Joker as portrayed by Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight. And I have seen The Dark Knight countless times. And it doesn't matter how many times I've seen the film, whenever I watch it again, I cannot take my eyes. Every moment that Heath Ledger is on the screen, it's like that performance doesn't age. And it's so good. He is so good in that performance as the Joker. And he portrays the Joker as someone who is 100% devoted. Like a lot of villains in movies, they're all talk and no walk. The Joker is what he says he truly believes. Does he lie in the film? Yeah, he lies in the film. But when he says, I'm an agent of chaos, he absolutely believes that. He doesn't care if he dies at any moment. He is completely, it's like Alfred said in the movie, some men just want to watch the world burn. That was the Joker. He wasn't in it for money. He was in it to watch the world burn. That's some ultimate villain stuff there. The way he portrays the Joker is, he's brilliant. He is just this ultimate sort of puppet master. Yet at the same time, he's completely insane. Just totally out of his mind. So when you add in there that he's brilliant, he is completely insane. He has absolutely no conscience. That is a very, very, very dangerous person. That's the kind of person you don't want to be within a 500-mile radius of. That performance, watching it, and like I said, I've watched it over and over again, it doesn't get old. It doesn't age. I mean, I don't see any sort of... It's just a perfect performance, I think. A perfect performance. Now, granted, and I don't think the fact that, of course, Heath Ledger passed away shortly after the film was finished, of course, I mean, that adds just this mythic quality to the film. But even if he hadn't passed away, that is still a phenomenal, amazing performance. I truly believe he deserved the Oscar that he won posthumously for that portrayal of the Joker. That is the ultimate villain to me, is Heath Ledger's The Joker from The Dark Knight. Like I said, completely dedicated to just chaos. Not in it for any kind of financial gain, for any kind of power gain. He doesn't want to rule Gotham. He wants to burn Gotham to the ground. He wants to destroy everything. Just incredible. I mean, completely incredible. I could talk about The Dark Knight and the Joker from The Dark Knight for another hour. But yeah, I mean, to me, when I think of the ultimate movie villain, I think of Heath Ledger's The Joker from The Dark Knight. So yeah, that was my top 10 favorite movie villains. If you guys have your own top 10 favorite movie villains, leave those in the comment section or do a video response and link it to this video. Let me know what you think of the video in the comment section below. Who are your favorite movie villains? If I left one or two out that you think should have been in the list, please let me know. Or like I said, make your own list, do a video response, link it. And yeah, so anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. And until next time, take it easy. Peace.